Alright, this is video 5 of 9 videos for chapter 8, and we're going to start right here. But before we do that, just kind of reiterate or remind you guys, when Mr. Wilson, the pastor, or the priest, he asks Pearl, "Who made thee?" If you guys remember from when we read in the chapter about Pearl, that's kind of what they were playing at. Who made thee? Who made thee, right? And Pearl said, God didn't make me, right? So we're hoping that she doesn't say that in front of this pastor, because if she did, it's kind of blasphemy. But this idea of who made this girl, right? Is it the sin, the evil that Hester committed? Is that what made her? Or is it of something good and true that made her? So it's kind of an interesting dichotomy to think about. All right, so here we go. We're going to start right here. Now Pearl knew well enough who made her, for Hester Prynne, the daughter of a pious home, very soon after her talking with the child about her heavenly Father, had begun to inform her of those truths which the human spirit, at whatever stage of immaturity, imbibes with such eager interest. Pearl, therefore, so large were the attainments of her 3 years' lifetime, could have borne a fair examination in New England Primer, or the first column of the Westminster Catechism, although unacquainted with the outward form of either of those celebrated works. But that perversity which all children have more or less of, and of which little Pearl had a tenfold portion, now at that most important moment took thorough possession of her, and closed her lips, and impelled her to speak words amiss. After putting her finger in her mouth, with many ungracious refusals to answer good Mr. Wilson's question, the child finally announced that she had not been made at all, but had been plucked by her mother of the bush of wild roses that grew by the prison door. The fantasy was probably suggested by neither the proximity of the governor's red roses, as Pearl stood outside the window, together with her recollection of the prison rosebush, which she had passed in coming hither. Rather Chillingsworth, with a smile on his face, whispered something into the young clergyman's ear. Hester Prynne looked at the man of skill, and even then, with her fate hanging in the balance, was startled to perceive what a change had come over his features. Much how ugly they were, how his dark complexion seemed to have grown duskier, and his figure more misshapen, since the days when she had familiarly known him. She met his eyes for an instant, but was immediately constrained to give all her attention to the scene now going forward. All right, so this is kind of an important little thing right here. It's all important, right? That's why we do it. But here she says, like old Chillingsworth had a smile on his face, and then Hester Prynne looked at the man of skill, her husband, and even then, with her fate hanging in the balance, was startled to perceive what a change had come over his features, and how much uglier they were, right? And so this Roger Chillingsworth is kind of changing. He's becoming uglier and more nasty looking. Okay, it's kind of interesting to note. All right, this ends the video.